Hi friends, my name is Akil Ahmed, and in this particular video tutorial I will show you how to use the SQL Server configurations in SSIS. So this is my profile. So I have 8+ years of experience on Microsoft technologies, mainly in SSIS and in SQL Server. So the agenda of today's video tutorial is what is package configuration and then how to set up the SQL Server configuration for an SSIS package. You can think about package configurations as a kind of way that you can use to update the values of the package properties at runtime. So instead of reading property values from the SSIS package, the package will actually read the configuration settings from a configuration file, or maybe from the configurations options. For example, there are different kind of configuration options available, and the most popular are the XML configuration and SQL Server configurations. For example, if you configure your SSIS package to read the connection string or maybe some file path or maybe folder path from for example from a SQL Server table, then while running the SSIS package at the runtime, the SSIS package won't get the values from the SSIS package itself, but it will read those values from the SQL Server table. So this is very much useful. For example, if you are developing your SSIS package on the development machine, and then while deploying your SSIS package to the production server, you don't need to change anything in the SSIS package, but you can make those changes in the SQL Server table that is accessible from the development server as well as from the production server as well. So package configurations are very much helpful while deploying the SSIS packages. So in this particular video tutorial, I will tell you how we can set up the SQL Server configuration for an SSIS package. So without wasting time, let's jump to the demo. Okay, so this is my SQL Server Data Tools 2013, and I have pre-created this particular SSIS package so that I won't waste the time here while creating the package. And you can download this particular SSIS package from dataplatformlabs.com/resources, and I will share the link of this particular SSIS package in the description of the video. This particular SSIS package, when ran, it loads the data from a CSV file to a SQL Server table, and then it also logs like how many records loaded and which file got loaded. So it loads the data to a test data table on a SQL Server database, and then it also logs the information to a TBL logs table, like which file got loaded and the number of records loaded, and the file, like which file it's going to load, it basically read that particular information from the file path SSIS variable. So if you put a different file name here, so it will load that particular file. So at this particular location, C files, right now I have 2 files. Those can be loaded by this particular SSIS package because the structure of both files are same. So as of now, it's going to load the first file, but it can also load the second file as well. So let me go to the SQL Server Management Studio, and if you execute this particular query, so right now both tables are empty because they doesn't contain any data. So let me just show you by executing this SSIS package. So now you can see that the package got completed, and if I run the select query again, so now it means that 30 records got loaded by the SSIS package, and an entry has been made to this particular table, TBL logs table. So this has loaded the first file, testdate_1, and it has loaded 30 records. Okay, so let me truncate this particular table. Okay, so tables are empty again, and now let me go back to the SSIS package, and then we can stop the SSIS package. And now let's configure the SSIS package to use the SQL Server configurations. So while configuring an SSIS package to use the SQL Server configurations or XML configurations, you need to make sure that the deployment model is package deployment model. If it is not the package deployment model, then you need to right click on it and then you need to convert it to package deployment model. But our current SSIS project is having the package deployment model, that's why it's saying that you can convert it to project deployment model, but I don't want to do that. So now I can right click on the control flow and then I can click package configurations, the second option. So it will open the package configuration organizer, and you can click enable package configurations from here, and then you need to click add configuration, and from the package configuration wizard you can click next, and then under the configuration type you need to select like what kind of configuration you want to add. So the default one is the XML configuration file, you can see the XML configuration file in my last video, and I will share the link in the description of this video as well if you want to see. And then from these options you can select SQL Server, because I want to store the information in a SQL Server table. It has pre-selected the localhost testing OLEDB connection because this connection was available in this particular SSIS package. Otherwise, if the connection is not available, then you can click new and you can create a new SQL Server connection here. Okay, so maybe you can provide a server name that is accessible from your development server, from your production server, or from QA server as well. So as of now, I don't want to create another connection because at my machine I have only this particular SQL server, so this should be fine for me. And now here you need to create a new configuration table. If there is already a table, then that's fine, otherwise you can click new. So I'm going to create this particular SSIS table, SSIS configurations, that will actually store the configuration setting. So click OK. Okay, so next option is configuration filter. So you can think of configuration filter like kind of unique value for this particular SSIS package, because same configuration table can be used across different SSIS packages. So if you can provide a unique value for this particular SSIS package, so in that case you can identify the records for this SSIS package. So let me just name the filter as load CSV file filter. Now we can click next. And from these available options, as I want to store the value of the SSIS variable file path in the SQL Server table, so I need to expand the file path SSIS variable, and then I can expand the properties. And from the list of available properties, I want to store the value property because I want to assign the value property of file path at runtime from the configuration table. So now I can click next. So if you want to provide a value to this particular configuration, then it's fine, otherwise you can click finish, and then you can click close. So now we are done with configuring the SQL Server configuration on this particular SSIS package. So let me go back to the SQL Server Management Studio, and if you refresh the tables here, then you will find a table named SSIS configuration. So you can open it. So now you can see that the value of the filter is load CSV file filter that we provided while configuring the SQL Server configurations, and this is the default value testdate_1 for this particular SSIS variable file path. So you can actually modify the value of this particular SSIS variable file path here in this particular column configured value. So let me just right click on the table and click edit top 200 records, and then I can change the value here from test data 1 to test data _2. So I did not modify the SSIS package, and if I reselect the data, then you can see that the configured value has been changed to 2. So when you will deploy your SSIS package to the production server, then you don't need to modify the value in the SSIS package, but you can modify the values in the configuration tables. And now if you go back to the SSIS package and if you see data in the variables, so still the data in the variables is test data _1. However, as we have used the SQL Server configurations, so instead of reading data from the SSIS variable, when you will execute the SSIS package, it will actually read the data from the SQL Server configuration table. So it should have loaded the second file. So let me go back to the SQL Server, and if I rerun this particular select query, so you can see that initially in first run it loaded test data _1. However, as the value in the configuration table has been changed to test data _2, so it has loaded the second file test data _2, and it has loaded 20 records. So guys, this is how the SQL Server configurations actually works. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you like the video, then please click the like button and do subscribe to our channel to see more videos on SSIS and other related technologies. Thank you so much.